I think this is an interesting move by Disney, and I think this is them just like a shot across the bow of all scoopers. Like, hey, we're watching. It's not the Wild Wild West out there.
Yeah.
You should be a little scared that we're gonna out who you are, and like we might cut off whatever your sources are. Welcome back to the break room. Is Marvel finally cracking down on scoopers with the law? We'll get into it today, in addition to a bunch of other good Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings news on this special 2-pen edition of the Monday Headline Show. Hit that graphic.
H-E-A-D.
Oh my God.
Isn't that nice?
That looks great.
I am thrilled to be joined.
Look how thrilled he looks.
I'm thrilled to be joined. Maude Garrett's here, as she often is.
Hi.
Hi, Maude. And you know who's here? Who's here a lot less frequently on Mondays? Jessica Clemons is here.
It's normally my nap time.
Normally.
my nap time. But I do like just watching you two interact. It's very funny. You guys could easily be siblings.
That's the first time we've heard that.
Hemispheric siblings. She's Maude comes from the South Hemisphere, and I come from the North. And
I've already got 2 brothers.
We meet at the equator. I have a sister.
My quota is full.
Oh, switch siblings for a day.
Oh, fun.
Whoa, which one do you want to...
Wait, I have brothers now? Okay. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. I'm excited to hear what Maude and Jessica have to say about this. Again, a little Lord of the Rings stuff. Frank Grillo and Peacemaker Season 2, and what could that mean for live action DC? We'll do a Maude Monday Minute. But first up, let's take a look at a clip from the Acolyte. They did an interesting release with this, the Phantom Menace re-release in theaters.
Who went? Who saw it? Raise your hand.
I did not. You and Evan
Raise your
did.
hand.
Yeah.
Where's it?
Throw in the chat
Oh,
if you...
no. It's The Void. Oh, there you go. Raise your hand if you saw it. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. You know what? That movie? Not great.
I'm pretty sure it was pod racing, right?
It's Wizard.
Is...
I was mod racing out of there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Now that's pod racing. But at the end, I believe, was it after the credits?
Yep.
They showed a clip from the Acolyte. Some folks stuck around and watched that. Now, they also released a clip online, though it's not the exact clip. You were saying, Evan and Maude, it's a little bit longer in the theater, but...
Yeah.
I think I actually left before it played. I told you I was mod racing out of there. So Bulba was like, rah, 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 and I was like, nah, mate.
Hey,
You have this one.
hey, Annie, you got to want to stick around till after the credits. Hey.
That's pretty good.
That's really
actually
good.
really
I know
good.
what character you're doing, but it also just sounds like you're trying to poop.
It
Yeah,
does.
well-
You do have to
And
harness
the veins
that.
were coming out of his neck. I don't know if y'all could saw that, but I did.
I'm just doing an impression of Brandon doing an impression of
There you go.
him. So let's roll this clip from the Acolyte.
Ba-ba-ba-da-bum. I already love it.
Damn, June's too
Oh.
hectic.
Did you see how effortless that was?
This does look good.
Oh, so good.
She's so good. Look at her go. I'm proud of her. Yeah.
Oh, where'd they come from?
Mandela.
Star Wars: The Acolyte, 2-episode premiere June 4th, only on Disney+.
She's traded her leather trench coat in for some Jedi robes.
They both
She
look
looks great. Amanda
Yeah.
looks great. I'm so proud of her.
They both look awesome. And I will say, like, I'm trying to think of the Star Wars live action Disney Plus stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that any of them have really been defined by their hand-to-hand combat. There've been some fun lightsaber duels in Ahsoka. Been some cool stuff, but
I
like,
can actually tell you some of the fighting styles. I mean, if you look at, there was a beautiful moment in Ahsoka where Hayden Christensen, when he was becoming, going from Anakin to Darth Vader, you can see that his style even changed up because he gets more aggressive. But yeah, everyone's got different styles. Ahsoka is a lot more acrobatic. She'll hold her
crazy
lightsabers
flips
the other
and
way around.
There was the her like jumping from wings to wing of the starship. But I love that this is. I mean, of course, you can't see Carrie-Anne Moss in a fight sequence and not think a little bit about the Matrix, especially one where she's like jumping up to the second story and doing like crazy flips and stuff like that. But that looks great. I love like the way it's shot too. It's kind of dark, you know, not the super well lit kind of style that sometimes defines the Star Wars stuff. Yeah, and I think they're setting a tone, right? This is supposed to be kind of a gritty, darker kind of show. I'm in it. We didn't see anybody like get mortally wounded in that. But I hope some of that happens too. Yeah.
You want people to die.
Yeah, I like death.
Yeah. You're gonna die one day.
That's true.
Yeah.
One of the things we were saying that there's some slight changes with the clip in the doc.
Sorry. I had a minor existential crisis, but I'm back now.
Nope, I'm back in it.
I'm back in. We're locked back in.
Good time to be alive and live.
In the theaters, I think one of the things that was interesting was to see kind of Amelia Sundberg's character kind of walk up. It was like a little bit like you said, like moodier, and it was just a little bit more drawn out on how they were like getting to the conflict. What was interesting, I thought, was that it felt like there was dialogue already cut out for that presentation. So be really curious to see like what kind of form this show takes. But you can see a lot more there, like the martial arts stuff, right, being clearly referenced here.
Well, and even the one line of dialogue they keep is, "Who trained you?"
Yeah.
Like, there must be a reason. That's the one thing they didn't cut out.
Well, she's kind of like predicting the style, right? Like the dagger went there and she kind of watched it happen. So it's almost, that's a big trope where it's like if two people get trained by the same person, they can understand each other's fighting style. I also want to say this is the first time since Darth Maul was introduced in The Phantom Menace that we've seen a lot of martial arts added to the fighting style, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and it's fun to make. They're doing the force pushes and the lightsabers, but also the kicky punchy and the flippy and
We love
everything.
the kicky punchy.
Yeah, love it. Speaking of Star Wars, we worked with a company, our friends at Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat, who we've worked with in the past. They are a very uniquely named clothing company, but their whole thing is we did a collaboration shirt that I'm wearing right now, Camp Eat Walk,
So
and it's got some little Ewoks. And so their whole thing is they're a fitness company, but they're super like body positive and like food positive, and all their designs incorporate like pizzas and ice cream, but also dumbbells, and like all of their models are different sizes and shapes, and they're all clever and cool designs. So we're really excited to work with them. This shirt is actually not available yet.
Damn it.
I have an early one, but you should check out kindoffitkindofat.com. They have a lot of other cool designs. I think we have a graphic here for.
Show us.
They have a Wolverine
God.
parody called
Nice.
Wolverine. That's really dope. I want that shirt too.
Oh, it's a pizza?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that. That's
Yeah,
great.
and also a dumbbell there. And they, they often play with pop culture. They have like a fun like Super Mario shirt, and they have a fun, we did a Ninja Turtles collaboration with them previously. And then they have just cool other just like exercise gear and all kinds of stuff. You should check them out, follow them on Instagram, and stay tuned for when they release this shirt, which we'll talk about again when it comes out. So.
Can I just really quickly, could you show it full screen again? I would like to provide the sound. No, this guy.
Oh,
This
we don't have that one.
No, I would like to provide the sound that he is making. You ready?
Yeah, that feels like an Ewok eating a cookie. Yeah. Thank you, Maude. Maude, professional voiceover actor.
It screamed that to me. It's just so clear in my head, that noise.
So we've got some Lord of the Rings news. Eric Voss has recently done a whole series on his Deep Dive channel, breaking down the original trilogy. You should go check those out. But The Hollywood Reporter shared and then deleted some images. So there's a movie coming out, I believe, in November of this year. December, thank you. Lord of the Rings, War for Rohirrim. Am I pronouncing that right, we think? An animated feature-length theatrical Lord of the Rings movie. These images looked cool as hell.
I
Do we have them?
gasped when I saw them. Look how rad this looks.
It looks like a painting.
It looks so cool. This is the animation style. It's unlike anything. It looks like old school, like paperback fantasy books. It looks wicked. I'm so about it.
Yeah, I don't know that again, it almost looks like concept art more than frames from the movie. But if the actual movie looks like that, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that
How cool would that
looks
be?
like that.
I'm
Yeah.
about that.
Again, that's coming out in December. Other Lord of the Rings news came out last week. Came out that they're making a new live-action Lord of the Rings movie. Will be produced by Peter Jackson. Will be directed by and presumably star Andy Serkis, reprising the role that made him famous. Gollum. The movie's going to be called The Hunt for Gollum.
Wild as hell. Are they both Amazon?
So those will be Warner Brothers, but the Amazon show Rings of Power. There's a new trailer dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
So it's back right now. Lord of the Rings.
It's having a moment now. So famously, there's a fun schism in the Lord of the Rings creative world where Amazon swooped in and wanted to throw a bunch of money at them, but Warner Brothers already had the rights to the movies and the main books, so they had to buy kind of like everything else from the estate of Tolkien. And Amazon was like, Peter Jackson, no thanks. Kind of pissed him off. So he went back to Warner Brothers and he's like, I got to get back in the game.
Just so they don't touch it. Doesn't Amazon own? Don't they own like the portion for the video games?
Yes, I
Because
believe
they're
that's
coming
true
out with
too.
the newest video game, but then they didn't do the Gollum game. That game was just horrible. And played by a
Do
different
we have the
person.
picture? I've got a picture of that Gollum game. I don't want any more Gollum. I'm done with Gollum.
We'll play it in post. But
We'll
it
play
looks
it first.
crazy.
Andy Serkis was like, I'm done with.
Isn't that?
Yeah, I
it's
know.
a
I
nightmare
had to
fuel.
play the game. I had to play it for
It's
work.
not good, is
and
it?
it was a horrible game.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But now that Planet of the Apes is done for Andy Serkis, he's like, I can go back to Gollum.
Well, and I want to say it's been a minute since Andy Serkis has done a stop motion movie, right? I mean, that was the first thing that
Not
made him
stop-
famous when he
it's
did.
not stop motion.
Or not
Say
stop motion.
something.
Motion capture is
There
what I
you
meant to
go.
say. Thank you.
You're
Where he's got to wear the little ping pong balls all over him. I mean, no offense to him, I'm sure he's in great shape. He's an older gentleman now. When he was like crawling over rocks as Gollum, he was a young, spry guy. Do you think he's still putting on the suit to crawl around as Gollum?
I don't think you should dismiss him so fast.
Okay,
Actually,
fair.
this is his profession. He's been doing it for decades. I'm sure he's like ripped in his downtime, you know, like ready to
yeah.
Gollum it up.
Yeah, did you see the one guy, the black Ghostbuster?
Oh,
So
yes.
big. He's like 80
Ernie
almost.
Hudson,
That man
good
is
God.
built to
That's true. You know
enough
what?
to be my grandfather.
Apologies to Andy Serkis. Don't come from me.
Yeah, I would stop projecting,
Loved your work in
actually.
Andor, and I'm sure this movie's going to be really interesting.
Also, I'm sure he's gonna be moving and crawling. He's good at that, but it's more his eyes that's doing a lot of the acting and a lot of the portrayal. That I'm like, yeah, he still has that. And as he gets older, it's like you can tell in his face. He was he had a lot of hand in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and all his interviews, I was like, damn, this guy's eyes are just getting bigger as he ages. They're getting bigger
Yes.
and more emotional.
intense.
Yeah, they're very intense.
And he also has a lot of experience directing. Of course, he directed the Jungle Book movie that had Idris Elba in addition to other
Every
folks.
single human being that's
Yeah,
there.
it had a big old cast. That was
Wasn't that John Favreau?
there was 2 Jungle Book movies. Maybe he did the Mowgli one and Jon Favreau did the other one. He did the
Jon Favreau do the
non-Disney
Scarlett
Jungle Book.
He
Johansson
did
one?
the Mowgli one.
He did Mowgli,
Right.
but it was the same. It was tigers and elephants and whatever. And then he also directed
my.
everybody's favorite Spider-Verse movie. He did Venom 2: Let There Be Carnage, right? That was him too.
Who said the elephant, monkey, something else was dancing? There's
Jungles.
something else
There were jungle people.
trees, bushes.
A little boy and snakes. I don't know.
What? So this is going to be called The Hunt for Gollum?
Yes.
Why? Why are they hunting him? What did he do?
Oh.
He has his ring people on it.
And so there was some speculation. I forget. Does Gollum survive the original trilogy, or does he die? at the end? He does.
It was like an ominous open door, wasn't it?
Oh.
There was like ...
I thought he fell
he
in lava
fell in
too.
lava?
Throw in the chat. Does Gollum live at the end of Return of the King? Well, because when is this set? Is this set in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, or is it set after Lord of the Rings?
I think that's what I was trying to find out. That's the thing. It was like I don't know how much information is out about this right now. It was just like they're putting a title to a possible Lord of the Rings movie. That was
Now, I've also heard rumors that in this, Gollum is a submarine, and
what?
he's gone rogue, and another Jack Ryan is involved.
I don't like this.
It's a long-winded hunt.
Evan's already walked off.
It's actually a working title: Hunt for Red Gollum Tober.
Oh, you needed such a
good. All
setup.
right,
No,
I'm back.
absolutely not. That was a stretch.
Hey guys,
I still don't get it.
Exactly, because it wasn't good. It wasn't
guys,
good.
Evan's funny now. Zach is not. Those are our new personas, okay?
But Evan, you can't hold a pen. No pens in your hands, okay?
I won't give that up. Okay.
screwdriver.
Real quick, before we move on to some fun Marvel news, we want to thank another one of our sponsors, Kalshi, for sponsoring today's videos. Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange that lets you bet on all kinds of events, including Rotten Tomato scores for films. Evan, you have done this. Mm-hmm. I've also done it. You had some thoughts on the Rotten Tomato scores for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, that's right.
That worked out well for you?
Yeah, I had a feeling that it would be safely in the 80-90 range. Was correct.
I would have lost.
Did we say, where did it come out at?
I think it settled out around like 81.
81.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just getting in there, but yeah.
Just sneaking across the finish line. And again, if you are ever skeptical and you're like, there's no way Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will be in the 80s or the 90s, you could always pick the under on these. And then when the final number comes out, you can win or lose based on your accuracy. And they have a lot of other pop culture things like how many Grammys will Taylor Swift win, or will Lady Gaga be nominated for an Oscar? All kinds of things like that. Some of them are longer term, like will TikTok get banned officially or not? And some of them are more short term, like what will the Furiosa Rotten Tomatoes score be? I'm interested in that. I've already seen.
What would you think it is?
I saw. Have you seen Furiosa?
I have not.
I saw it. Evan and I went and saw it. We can't say much about it. I would be bullish on the Rotten Tomato score. But I have realized I'm not very good at predicting Rotten Tomato scores. I'm frequently wrong, is something I have found out. I'm not good at predicting that. But you can sign up and explore Kalshi for yourself at kalshi.com/breakroom. And the first 500 traders to make a deposit of $50 will get a free $20 credit. Thank you to Kalshi. And then our last sponsor today, we want to shout out our friends at Marvel Move. So Marvel Move is an app. There it is. Look at that. They got a pretty graphic. From the folks at ZRX, a company you might have heard of. They made a thing called Zombies Run, which is a running app where you're running from zombies.
I love that one. I played that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have a Marvel app now where you're running with Thor and Loki, or you're running from Hulk, or you're running from Blade, and like all these different Marvel storylines. The storylines are written by actual comic book writers. They get really good voice actors. All the voice actors, I've been doing the Thor and Loki one. It's Thor and Loki train you for a 5K, from couch to 5K in 8 weeks. And I'm about 4 weeks into that. My knees and ankles hurt every day. That is not the fault of Marvel Move. That is my fault because I haven't run in 10 years. And I decided to start going pretty hard in this. You shouldn't do that. You should consult with a doctor and take your time. But it's a really fun way. Brandon Barrick and New Rockstars has been using this. A couple other folks on the staff. They're fun storylines. They're kind of like, if you're not excited about running, it's a fun way to kind of distract you. If you are excited about running, it kind of gamifies it. It shows you your times. You kind of win little items and stuff like that while you're going. The plots develop over the course of multiple episodes. It's great. And they're friends of the New Rockstars channel. They liked us. We like them. You should try it out. You can download the ZRX app on iPhone or Android to try Marvel Move for 1 week for free. Give it a couple runs and see how much you like it.
Fun.
And then when
Zach's funny now.
Zach's funny now.
Well, punny and funny are two very different things.
Zach's punny now.
When you're ready to dive in, head to zrx.app/newrockstars and use coupon code NEWROCKSTARS at checkout for 50% off your first month. It's affordable, it's fun, and if you're looking to maybe begin or continue a fitness journey as the weather warms up and you want to get outside, it's a great option.
Around the corner.
That's right. If you're like me and you haven't run in 10 years and you're looking for a good excuse to start, Marvel Move. Okay, back to the news of the day. It's my favorite segment every week, the Maude Monday Minute. Now back on Mondays. Last week it was on Tuesday. Where Maude's going to try to get through as many headlines as possible in 60 seconds.
1 minute. I don't know how heavy the news was over the weekend, but let's find out. Give me the scissors. Your time starts now. Dune Prophecy, the Dune prequel show about the Bene Gesserit, has cast legendary Indian actress Taboo as Sister Francesca, a great love of the Emperor whose return to the palace strains the balance of power in the capital. Ooh, we want some more news on this one soon. The 1968 sci-fi film Barbarella will be getting a remake starring Sydney Sweeney, with Edgar Wright in talks to direct. Another movie in the Sony-Sydney relationship following Madam Web and Anyone But You, which was an advertisement for Sydney. Anya Taylor-Joy reportedly only has 30 lines of dialogue in the upcoming film Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Do you reckon that's right?
Can confirm.
30 lines of dialogue.
Felt more than 30.
Well, what a good payday for her. According to Variety, Peter Jackson and the Olympian, Percy Jackson and the Olympians made up 23% of Disney Plus's views for the overrun of time for the original series this year so far. Single shows that follow up. Why are you doing this to me? I'm tall. Are X-Men 97 and Echo. Go back. This is important.
All right, we'll take. Okay. We'll take.
Percy
I didn't realize that trumpet was lower. Let me know.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians have made up 23% of Disney Plus's views for their original series so far. That is whopping.
Yeah.
X-Men 97's only at 11.8 and Echo got 6.8. I thought X-Men would have been 23%.
In our circle, I wonder, is it, throw in the chat, are you watching Percy Jackson and the Olympians? Is it really big with like younger people?
Yeah, it is. But I think it's also big with everyone rather than X-Men is. Because I know that X-Men is still Marvel, so it's like a lot of people that don't know Marvel or don't care about X-Men, they still can watch Percy Jackson without having to do research.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Eric Voss was pointing out in Slack earlier today that like there's still a decent chunk of adults that will never watch anything animated.
Yeah, true.
Even if they are like Marvel fans, they're like, I can't do cartoons or whatever. And so that might be suppressing some of the X-Men 97 numbers. We don't know.
So the Percy Jackson series came out a little while ago now, like 10, 15 years?
The original film adaptation? Or the books?
The movies.
The books.
The books.
Yeah.
The books even longer, possibly. YA, super easy to read, got a huge fan base. Then it became a movie. They loved that as well. They're saying that this particular Disney Plus show looks so much better in terms of all the the CGI, all of the motion capture, all of that, and have often compared it to Rings of Power, which is $30 million an episode, and they're saying, why does Percy Jackson look this good and Rings of Power not as good, and one costs so much more and the other one so much less?
And then they said the Avatar looked bad, and the showrunner from Avatar is going to Percy Jackson.
Netflix
y'all can talk
Avatar?
shit as much as you want, but your favorite's about to be another favorite. So
It's very odd. I think the perspectives and like on budget and high fantasy shows now, like it's very interesting how people decide to use the money that is given to them for these shows. And who's to say? Maybe the volume is a win. Maybe it's not. LED walls, green screen. It's all
A couple of things I want to talk about from your Mod Monday Minute. I love how when you thought it was Peter Jackson, you put such a twang on him.
Well, a lot of people can't differentiate between an Australian accent and a Kiwi accent, and so if an Australian does a New Zealand accent, then that's when you hear it. And I cannot say his name, like I can't say diagonally anymore. Diagonally. I can't say Peter Jackson. It's Peter Jackson. Yeah, Peter Jackson.
Love it. And then I might be one of the few people on Earth, but I am so jazzed for this Bene Gesserit show. And like,
you're jazzed for any Dune.
I know. I want all Dune all the time.
Yeah,
but like, we don't, it's like still that, it's like a phantom show where it's like nobody's sure when it's going to come out. I mean, they're still dropping casting news. I thought the show was done, shot, and wrapped and was like, going to come out sometime soon. Give me that show. I'm here for that show.
Is it
Give me a
doing it for
trailer.
you?
It's done it. It's doing it. It's done it. I'm digging it.
I'm the pun master now. Doing it for you. Come on. It was right there.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
And then, we've been talking in the office a lot about those numbers released. I think that came via Variety, right? About the percentages of views on Disney Plus going to those different shows. And I do think like the X-Men 97 number, it's only at 11.8% right now. I think it's going to grow a lot because presumably this is before the finale and maybe even before other episodes is when they tabulated it. And I don't know, we are obviously watching it every week, but I think a lot of people might wait till the full season's out and then catch up, or maybe they've watched a couple of the episodes, but not all of them. I could see as word of mouth spreads that number keeps going up and up and up.
I mean, that's what happened to Percy Jackson. No one was going to watch. I was genuinely like, me and my one friend were going to watch it because we read the books and we're obsessed with Logan Lerman's. And then I was like, I'm going to take my time. And it was like Evan harassing me every week being like, Jessica, this is great. So go watch it. And I finally did.
Was it weekly or was that a binge
Was
drop?
it weekly?
It was weekly. I think maybe the first 2 episodes came out back to back, but otherwise it was weekly.
Because I watched it once it was like all out basically.
Yeah.
Which is for that show, when all's said and done, the better way to watch it.
Because when I had to wait a week, I stopped, forgot, got distracted, moved to the next one. Yeah. So I would have liked to have seen it all in one go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But word of mouth got it. Someone said, wow, it's so good, you need to see it. And I was like, let's go. Watch the first 2. I was like, that was good.
It's cute.
And then the middle?
Uh-oh.
That's why they brought Avatar.
Yeah, they brought Avatar.
They said, hey, I'll fix it. I'll fix this.
Okay, so we wanted to move on to our main topic here. We're going to call to the bullpen and bring in a special guest here.
They started walking in before you even started.
I
right.
want to be in the wings.
We got to
Why you got scissors in your hand?
leave it up to John Costa to
I
begin
moved the
talking
chair to the
before
other
he's
side.
on
Sorry.
mic. Come on. Oh, there's a chair there?
Walk around.
Okay. So there was some interesting news that came out over the weekend. We wanted to bring in John Costa, who's our resident expert on this topic.
John Costa.
Yes. Welcome, John. Can we help you?
I'm not moving over.
John's going to be a parrot on Jessica's shoulder
Yeah, you
and
gotta
just
stay
stick his
as
head
close as you can.
Okay, so if you're a super fan of Marvel,
This chair's broken. Did you know that?
sorry.
Is it? Yeah. Did Zach break it again?
I probably did. I've broken more than one chair in the office. If you're a fan like us, especially a certain stripe of fan who might spend a little time on Reddit or follows certain creators on Twitter or other things, you know that there is a real black market in Marvel rumors that goes on, and there's a few kind of like prominent scoopers or rumor accounts out there that if you're in that world, you will know them by name, and we're going to mention a couple of them. But there's some news that broke over the weekend that Disney is taking action against one of those. Per Variety, on May 7th, Disney filed a subpoena request asking the court to order Instagram to identify the people or person behind the popular Scooper account, Can We Get Some Toast? As they had allegedly shared a copywritten image from Captain America Brave New World in an Instagram story. Now, we are not going to share that image here, both because we don't want to be struck by Disney lightning, and I don't think we have it.
Also, you want to risk it all
Maybe you don't
for
know.
a story? An Instagram 24-hour story? That's it? Come on.
Well, so let's talk about that, right? That is how these people make their money. They are putting content behind paywalls for a limited amount of time. I did bring scissors today. This is in response to you being a pen guy. I mean, interestingly enough, I think that, this is not Disney coming after the individual, right? It's Disney coming after the platform in order to kind of name the individual, an individual that I've had conversations with, which is a little weird.
Whoa. Can you give that backstory real quick, John?
Yes. Yeah. So New Rockstars was not really sure the state of this piece is anymore. It became like a little bit of a hobby horse for some people at New Rockstars to kind of like, not necessarily figure out who these scoopers are, but just to kind of understand them a little bit better. And so we were putting together a piece on scooper culture. We got to speak to some of the subreddit moderators for the Scoops subreddit, right? And those are the folks who like have similarly gotten DCMA'd by Marvel in the past for also hosting things, but them not being the like leakers themselves, right? So in February of last year, they got a takedown notice because one of the transcripts of it was something like the translated captions for Quantumania got leaked ahead of the movie. And so that subreddit actually, they decided they elected themselves to sort of shut the subreddit down to like protect themselves and just kind of regroup. Interestingly enough, though, Toast, the scooper, has continued to post throughout the weekend and into today. So it's an interesting world. I have seen the leak. I'm not a legal expert. The thing that I saw was a Red Hulk hands only. Oh.
Hands only.
I think that means Red Hulk.
Hands only is really
That's
tough.
good. Jessica is a very skilled hands-only interpreter.
I want you on my charades team.
I'll just say what it is first.
I'll be quite honest. It does not feel to me like something that Marvel would really bat an eye at, considering all of the other leaks that we've seen.
And we should talk. This is there's an interesting history here, and we should just like clarify some language so we're all on the same page, right? Between rumors, scoops, and leaks. Okay, with rumors and scoops, maybe it's a little hazy, the differences there. Scoops, I think we're going to generally define as like, those are from actual reporters who might get somebody like on the record, right? Like Deadline or Hollywood Reporter often like have scoops that are like who is cast in this role or a release date getting moved or something like that. Rumors are a little vaguer. Sometimes those are maybe like more amorphous. I'm hearing rumors that...
It's the journalist equivalent of allegedly.
Yes,
You know?
right?
So
Or
it's
maybe
like
they...
you're saving your butt by calling it a rumor. So there's like nothing super foundational by it, but you kind of want to push out there that you've sort of heard it first.
Well,
and
and,
inklings of.
and in this community in particular, I think that they use the word scoop to, bolster their claims a little bit more than they otherwise would. And I think that they use that term disingenuously quite
Yes, because they're often reporting rumors as scoops.
Or fabrications.
Yes. Well, and so I want to come back to that because I think that's a really interesting part of this culture. And then there's leaks. And like leaks are set photos often. Often they are something else that is a material thing that kind of confirms something. And not only confirms something, but often confirms a major plot point, a surprise cameo, something like that. Right? Like, because you don't just leak that, like, you know what? Anthony Mackie's going to be in Captain America Brave New World, right? Like, that's not really leak worthy, but maybe like what Red Hulk might look like or some other character that we didn't expect to be in it. Right?
Wolverine in the yellow and blue.
Yes.
That was an on-set photo. That was a leak.
That was a pretty significant leak. Yeah. And there have been... Like,
I would actually not classify that as a leak. That was a set photo taken by a spy photographer. That was not a piece of material that Marvel had created that then got out.
Oh, fair.
Right, and that's how I would classify a leak. It's a piece of material that Marvel is intending to use either in the promotional materials or in the film itself, and that gets out.
Yeah.
Whereas like a set photo...
Maybe it's helpful there, like there were a ton of Daredevil set photos because they shoot on the street in New York.
Right.
And there's just people in their apartment building or in a taxi that can take photos. As opposed to the Spider-Man No Way Home leaks of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being in the film.
Yes,
and those
are
images,
closed
right?
sets, where the only people that are in that warehouse are the people that are supposed to be there theoretically. So like that, it's just like when it's a lockdown situation like that, I would probably consider that a leak. We had John, Campia. I keep wanting to say John Cena. It makes no sense. John Campia did a couple of those leaks right before No Way Home came out. Those ended up being real.
Yes.
And those were,
And that gets us into the territory that I think, is spurring this conversation, right? When Disney claps back or clamps down on somebody that propagates, spreads any of these things that they don't want spread, right? And it's a fine line here because, like, as you mentioned, John, often Disney doesn't care. And like, hey, if you're talking about our upcoming stuff, we love that, right? Like, the fact that Fantastic Four is still like 2 years away or a year plus away. And, every week we're talking about some new Fantastic Four news. Disney loves that.
Let me say,
but there's a big difference between that and maybe spoiling a key moment or a plot twist or something like that in one of their upcoming things.
Because to a degree, Marvel sees leaks as part of doing business, right? You go to McDonald's today and you can get a Happy Meal toy for Captain America Brave New World, which doesn't come out until February. That's not a leak. That just happened to be because the film got pushed. But that's a good example of leaks that do happen because you need to get your merchandise in manufacturing so far in advance that it's just a cost of doing business. They're understanding that these toys will probably surface before they're ready to share those details, but they're not going to miss out on the merchandise opportunities. I remember, before The Mandalorian premiered, Disney made the conscious effort to not make any Baby Yoda, at the time, Grogu, toys because they didn't want the manufacturing process to leak that this character was going to be in the show.
Couldn't get anything.
And that them and fans because no one could get, excuse me,
John, did you get the memo that we're trying to
sorry about that. I believe it's after 8 minutes. Or is it 8 seconds? I don't know how we got claimed. No one could get toys.
Yes.
So they have to make these decisions.
Coming back to this, I would love to hear from all of you, like, how do you feel, and we are in a slightly different position as we have to make content about these movies, but like, as a fan, how do you feel about rumors, scoops, leaks, right? Like, are you actively seeking out those things in your spare time? Are some of those things you actively avoid because you want to keep fresh eyes? Like, how do you feel about those things?
I can't because it's my job.
You have to know. Is that a part of your job you resent, though? Would you prefer not to know anything?
Because Ryan Reynolds is outwardly been like, please stop. And I don't want to fight against him. Why would I do that? I don't want to show anyone's business out that they don't want yet. but I have to sometimes, and I will apologize in the beginning of videos when I have to do things that I don't want to do. But but I also agree with John where it's like, so they know what's being leaked. It's also what makes them bigger. It's what we all talk about. They get the fans excited to go see it. There was like a point in which Adobe made it very easy to torrent their stuff because they knew that you would be using this in the long run if you got a job in production using it.
Game of Thrones very popular.
So it like it's a tool that they're also using. I think with Can We Get Some Toast, they probably were like more about the Instagram Meta making it like okay to go through versus Can We Get Some Toast. I think they're using Can We Get Some Toast as an example for what Meta is doing that is still f***ing with them. It's been after 8 seconds.
I feel like what the majority of what we do is that the news comes out and then we speculate. So this is the announcement. Who could they be? What could this be? That's just speculation, and that's driving hype and excitement. I think what's going on differently with being behind a paywall is that these people are
great point.
Making money and making a business and profiting from damaging another big brand. And I said this off camera, it's your David and Goliath here. So why anyone would want to pick a fight with Disney, who has lots of money, a big legal team, like they're going to subpoena your name. Like you can't even be anonymous doing this stuff anymore. Like they will find you.
And on that same note, you can imagine, like in Disney's brain, not only is somebody making money spoiling one of our movies or something like that, but like in this modern world of like bad Sonic teeth or whatever, right? They're worried that like somebody will leak a not complete Red Hulk image, and then the entire internet's like, Red Hulk trash, this movie trash, not gonna watch it or whatever, right?
Do you think there's really no way that Disney doesn't allow some things they're giving it to give out to scoopers? It's not even PR 101. I don't even know what you call it. It's just like controlling the narrative 101. And I know that Amazon does that. They do that with The Boys. There's a leaker for The Boys that they allow to leak the stuff. They just say, hey, can you pass it through us so we can tell you what not to leave in? And they do. They do all the time. I follow all of Invincible, The Boys, all of Amazon shows. They allow like leakers to leak as long as they're like, yeah, this is fine to let out.
It's interesting what you said, that this person is making a business out of these leaks, and you look at a brand like New Rockstars and you ask a similar question of like, well, why wouldn't Disney go after a brand like New Rockstars? I think it's what you were just sort of saying. It's like there's people you want to have a relationship with and people you don't want to have a relationship with, and the people who are damaging your brand potentially you don't want to have a relationship with. Disney really loves their fans, and they really want their they want to like, they want people to actually believe that. And so, I do think that there's a little bit of letting people operate in the way that they want to operate, as long as it's not damaging to them.
Yeah, and there's also we put our face on stuff, and we use our actual names.
They know how to find us.
As opposed to a totally anonymous Twitter account, right?
That's actually that argument is very true. That's exactly what's happening with the Drake situation right now. Is someone's leaking all of the stuff, and the biggest problem is they don't know who it is, and they can't put a face to it.
Oh, and as long as somebody in the OVO
they can't figure out who it is.
And we've also found in the past that like the leaks game is a dangerous game in that you turn off as many fans as you pull in, because again, a lot of people don't want to be spoiled. A lot of people, especially if you're rooting for a movie or a franchise or a TV show or whatever, right? Like you not only don't want to be spoiled for it, but you kind of like are on their side, and you're not on the side of the people maybe trying to dismantle that or whatever.
I will say, you asked about how we feel as employees of New Rockstars, having to digest all this stuff. One of the advantages is, because we have to be so on the pulse, I walk into a movie theater not knowing what to expect on the other end of the spectrum, because I've heard all this insane bullshit probably won't come true.
John?
Right? And so, 8 seconds. And so, on one end, the first thing I worked on at New Rockstars as a full-time employee was the Joker breakdown, and I hadn't seen the movie yet, and spoiler alert for Joker, when Robert De Niro gets shot in the head, I was doing the assembly, and Eric says, and then he gets shot in the head, and I was like, okay, well, that movie just got spoiled for me. But now that I've worked here for so long, like probably would have heard that rumor in advance, and like 6 other rumors of how this person would have died.
Well,
and it really kind of like makes the rumors mean nothing.
And so we should talk about that. So like the other interesting thing is that pretty frequently these accounts are wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And there's probably a wide variety of reasons they're wrong. Whatever their sources are inside the studios may not have complete information. They might be getting fed lies by people trying to mislead them. Or, you know, scripts change, movies get re-edited, reshoots get shot, right? And so, like, they could have been right at one point, but by the time the movie comes out, there's been some really famous cases of, like, scoopers that went all in on a rumor that did not turn out to be true.
To be devil's advocate, 9 times out of 10, you remember the times they got it right versus the times they get it wrong. Because they boast for a very long time about the things they got right, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to remember the time you got, like, 5 things wrong versus the 100 you got right. Or, vice versa.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, most of these scoopers are operating at like a 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 are right, which is pretty good, you know. But you're both dead right when you have a movie like Multiverse of Madness, which people were expecting to be this big cameo fest, and like, you know, scoopers were saying, oh, Balder the Brave is gonna be in it, Daniel Craig, and like you go see that movie and you're like, well, that didn't happen. And then 2 months later, you see concept art come out of the movie, and it's like, oh, here was the dead body of Balder the Brave, and it was going to be Daniel Craig, and he's doing interviews saying like, oh yeah, the timing didn't work out, COVID, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay, so that person was right at the time, and then became wrong, so how do you really judge that?
I also think that the most prevalent window for these studios is the month leading up to the actual movie coming out, because it's the people who have seen it before the release. That's set in stone. That is the final product. And a lot of journalists are able to see the movie to prepare their reviews or critiques. Now, if anyone spoils something that is integral to the story before the movie comes out, that person's usually going to be blacklisted. They will not be invited back. They do really count those spoilers as like, do not do that. And majority of critics, journalists, and even like influencers, I suppose, they have less of a window, so they can't mess it up as badly. They respect that. You respect the fact that you don't want to spoil it, not only to get, like, you know, what's more important, getting the scoop of a spoiler or ruining it for everyone. And I think that they're really cracking down on, don't ruin the experience for the fan, because the fan is the most important person in this. There have been people that have leaked post-credit scenes 2-3 weeks before the movies come out, cameos, crucial plot elements in their like social review, and they're not invited back. And it's like, as simple as that. So you just have to be vague. And people, like even the general public, has a sliding scale on what they believe is a spoiler and what not.
Oh, we hear about that every time a Marvel movie comes out and we put a character in the thumbnail. They're like, that character's in the movie! And it's like, well, it was called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I thought you assumed Doctor Strange would be in the movie, but you know, or whatever, right? I think this is an interesting move by Disney, and I think this is them just like a shot across the bow of all scoopers, like, hey, we're watching. It's not the Wild Wild West out there. Yeah. You should be a little scared that we're gonna out who you are, and like we might cut off whatever your sources are, which I think is fine, and that's their right, and it's healthy for the ecosystem. I think, you know.
These invasive species.
Sometimes you need a little hedge back. I don't think it's, you know, they're not doing, again, Drake style takedown notices of anybody that uses their stuff on YouTube or something like that. They're going after a very specific thing, and I don't think it's that bad. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, the camera's on me. Yeah, I got it. I'd be really interested to hear what the comments and the chat is currently saying about it. What's your stance on spoils? Like, what do you think is fair? Do you think it is healthy to have a culture of scoops that drives excitement? Are you chomping at the bit to try and discover a nugget of information? Or are you wanting to be spoiled, like not spoiled at all, be completely spoiler free? Speculation's fine because it's just kind of like fun ideas. It's like kind of fans of the IP and property having a chat about what could be. But if someone's telling you what is that a line that's drawn, that has been crossed? I want to know. I want to know where people are at, what their thoughts are of it all. What's cool, what's not cool? And do you think that Disney coming after a small scooper who's leaking is fair or unfair? That's sort of, yeah. There's no wrong answer.
Have you ever paid for a Patreon or a Twitter Premium or whatever, you know, paid $5 to see their scoop on something that they've teased on Twitter?
I don't think I've paid to get like a chapter of a book earlier than everybody else.
That's
I've
the
also,
So have I.
if someone draws me online, I usually pay to have it because I usually want to make it my photo for all.
Artists are now like,
I don't know. I don't need to talk about my smutty ass book.
We will talk about that.
I agree. I'll be interested to read the comments on this and see what folks say, because I'm sure there's going to be some interesting takes.
from a legal perspective, just to round things out.
Wait, I didn't get to go yet. So
I thought that was you going.
me saying I read smutty books. Magneto. No, do you want me to go?
No,
Do you
go,
wanna
yeah, go.
And then we'll round out with you. Okay. My thing is, I agree with everyone said right here. Also, it's your guys' job to find journalists that you like and journalists that you believe in and you like their values and their morals, because there's going to be some scoopers that are journalists that will spoil things for you and you might get mad immediately, and that's why I'm telling you to point your way towards the ones that you like. The woman that taught me this was Joanna Robinson, and I stick with it all the time, and I only make sure I'm following for journalistic approaches. I only follow people that I'm like, yes, this person's integrity is there and I trust their motives, but I also trust what they're writing. It's very good. It's well-rounded.
From a legal perspective, the most boring, let's end with that. There are some precedents here, right, with certain legal entities trying to, or the government in particular, trying to get access to individuals' user data for law enforcement and things like that, and the government at times has not been able to do that. So I would be curious. I think that this will go nowhere, quite frankly, or if it does start going somewhere, it'll take a very long time, and potentially, I don't think this case will, but a case like it will end up with the Supreme Court, where it's like user data versus company trying to attain user data and that kind of thing.
Speak for yourself. I think that that's incredibly exciting, because you're right. If Meta starts going, here's everyone's private details.
Very bad.
It's like that's
very
going.
bad.
It's like when didn't
They're on
Meta
their way.
buy WhatsApp, which was supposed to be a really secured texting service, and now
Not anymore.
exactly.
I want to hear what Sonia Sotomayor's opinions on.
no.
She's like, well, based on the leak, I think it's pretty clear Harrison Ford has been transmutated via some.
Clarence Thomas is a secret Deadpool fan, and he's
Tell him to never
I think
watch our
we all
channel.
know Clarence
Fuck you,
Thomas
Clarence.
is a not so secret Punisher fan. I think we could all agree on that, right? He's
One of
definitely got the
those.
skull on the back of the truck, I think. Come on. Okay. There was some other Marvel news we were trying to get to.
Agatha's title.
Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John. Another fun twist in the ongoing saga of what the Agatha show will be called came out when, in a now deleted tweet, Marvel Entertainment shared the title Agatha, the Lying Witch with the Great Wardrobe.
I reckon that's BS.
Yes, or, I mean, there's a couple meta games at play here. Like, we were joking, like, was this an intern who accidentally tweeted it out? Eric Voss's working theory is that these are episode titles.
Ooh, that I would.
Coven of Chaos, would have been some of the other titles.
This is the episode where they go to the mall that we saw in the photos.
Oh, good call.
That's-
Right, this is obviously a play on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
There's already been a television episode that's taken the mickey out of that. That's taken that. Someone will find it on IMDb.
yeah.
Put it in the comments.
Well, yeah, luckily they put Agatha at the beginning, so they can kind of steal it now.
Yeah.
I can't see what it says.
Even like, and so that he thinks these might all be individual episode titles, and that eventually, that the show will be revealed to be called Agatha All Along or something similar. I think I want to get.
There. The House of Harkness, Coven of Chaos, Darkhold Diaries, and then The Lying Witch and the Great Wardrobe.
Are we going to see The Wicked Witch of Westview? Could that be the next one that might come out, or something similar?
I think they're going to take away Darkhold Diaries. It's too close to Darkhold Diaries, and it sounds gross.
Hello!
Oh,
You got to pay extra for that chapter, huh?
That's what I'm paying for on Patreon right now.
I kind of love it, and it's like low key. They haven't announced why the title keeps changing, and like if it just changed once, like how Captain America: Brave New World and New World Order just changed once, then it'd be like, okay, they just decided to go in a different name. But like this feels like no, they're making something
there's
out
like
of
a
this,
gag
right?
that's going to happen of her changing the titles and be like, no, that.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
fun.
They could play into it on like Brave New World. Brave New World. It's
too serious.
Yeah, it has to stay. Yeah, it has to stay.
Puns.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then in other Marvel news, we already have a video up on this New Rockstars channel, but some casting announcement for Fantastic Four. Galactus has been cast. Actually, two Fantastic Four. Ralph Ineson has been cast as, how do you say it?
It's innocent?
Innocent? I think so. I think he's an English actor, English, Scottish, Irish, one of those. Being cast as Galactus.
Now he's got a very deep, gravelly voice.
Oh man,
I know
this
very,
guy
very
has the graveliest, deepest voice. If you've seen The Witch, if you've seen, what are some of the other things he's been in?
He's the Green Knight.
Oh, in Green Knight, he plays the Green Knight.
Oh yeah, he is. Oh my God, yeah, he is.
He has a distinctive face, a distinctive voice.
That voice.
It's going to be cool. Who knows if Galactus might be fully CGI and we just hear this guy?
I think it's just going to be a voice.
Probably that.
Was he going to do a little mocap and put a face on
his
a
little
giant...
face on that giant.
Yeah.
Also, Ralph Ineson. Sorry.
Ineson.
Thank you, Ralph Ineson. And then John Malkovich has been cast in an unknown role. We don't know. Now, this has led to some fun speculation
I got
online.
one.
Oh, who do you think?
Puppet Master. Show a picture. I brought a picture with me. I think that's John Malkovich.
Is this
Come on.
purely
look
based
like
on
him.
baldness and...
Yes.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Have they casted the robot yet?
Herbie, yeah.
Not officially. I don't.
Could be a voice of Herbie. I saw some other people speculating could be Nathaniel Richards, Reed Richards' dad from the future or whatever.
John Malkovich's crazy ass.
Yeah, which I don't know that. I believe John Malkovich as Pedro Pascal's father.
Nah, that's a stretch.
Maybe not.
Nah.
If I think John Malkovich, and this might be just me, I think of the most lunatic kind of person.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm assuming he's
Great
going to be
villain.
playing like the puppet.
That's why I
Great
think the
villain.
puppet, like,
Yeah, and there were-
John Malkovich has such an essence
Yeah.
about him. Who's
Yes.
it? Bill Hader does a really good John Malkovich
Does-
impersonation.
He's that crazy intonation with his line delivery.
Yeah.
Even I saw some people speculating online could play like other Fantastic Four villains like Molecule Man, Red Ghost, Psycho Man, some kind of more obscure characters, but like who knows? He also could be, just playing like, I don't know, a senator from New York who interacts with them or something like that. We don't know yet. Yeah.
Also, I like that people are speculating, either if he's a villain, but like Paul Walter Hauser being cast also in an unknown role too last week.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
like if there's multiple villains, it's kind of cool because it's like, oh, we are getting the Fantastic Four post origin story, right? They're settled into their family life and their superhero lives.
Yeah.
And they're doing stuff.
And I also like just like get a bunch of good actors on board, have them flesh out the cast. It's the James Gunn Superman legacy move of I'm just gonna have all the actors in
and
this
then
movie.
I'll figure it out.
I'll just have everybody. And then speaking of James Gunn, some interesting news came out that Frank Grillo, who's playing the voice of Rick Flag Sr. In Creature Commandos, I think we already knew about that. He's also going to be playing that character live action in Peacemaker Season 2.
But we don't have a when they're shooting Peacemaker Season 2, because aren't they doing a Waller first?
Yes. Yeah.
Damn, so it might not even come to like 2026.
Yeah, I think he's like writing the script right now, but
When is Creature Commandos coming out?
This year.
Okay, so we're gonna probably just like jump back in time and we'll see Frank Grillo in
that's what Zach
Peacemaker
and I
2.
were saying. We're like, we don't know exactly where this will be placed, or like, we don't know how the show is gonna like fit into the new DCU because it started with the old one.
And reminder that Joel Kinnaman played Rick Flag in both Suicide Squad movies. So Frank Grillo would be playing his father, but maybe not his father, because there's a little bit of like, we don't know that those Suicide Squad movies are canon necessarily in the new DC, and we might shift some stuff around. Yeah.
Speculation. The observation. Peacemaker tackles a lot of daddy issues.
A lot of daddy issues there.
A lot of daddy issues.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Bring
Because
back Joel Kinnaman
James
one
Gunn
more
loves his dad. Well, isn't that why he like did Superman? He was like, this was my dad's doing. And that's why I made it like come out on my dad's birthday. He loves dad things because he loves his dad. I want more moms. I'm
Yes.
a mom girl.
Wasn't the dot?
Oh, that was a mommy issues,
That was a
right?
mommy
He saw his
issue.
mommy.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Belittling
David
him.
Dastmalchian character in Suicide Squad.
Malchian.
Oh yeah, I'm
Dastmalchian,
Suicide
thank
Squad.
you.
Yeah, his mom was like
Yeah.
always there.
Yeah, he had mommy issues.
So we were going to
Trauma's
speculate.
real, everyone.
Trauma's real. I think
trauma.
that's been confirmed, right? That's
Yeah.
canon. Trauma's real. Is canon.
Trauma, childhood
And
trauma.
Marvel 100%.
Yeah.
And
Aw.
Moon Knight and Shang-Chi.
DC, if
and
I get Martha's pearls splaying down the alleyway
I would,
one
rather,
more
I would rather
time.
have those pearls than Thanos a million times.
Yeah.
If I have to see what Nebula get ripped apart again, I
yeah.
will lose my mind.
Good point.
But we were speculating based on this, like, what could this mean about other? Right, we know the rest of the Creature Commandos cast. David Harbour is playing Frankenstein. Alan Tudyk is playing Dr. Phosphorus. Zoe Chow is playing Nina Mazursky. So we don't know that those characters necessarily are going to show up in live action DC, but if they do, are these actors going to be attached with them? Or?
Mentally, I have always been saying that this is DC's version of What If. That this isn't canon. They're just going to throw things into a blender, and you know it is what it is. They're not going to tie it into things canonically so that they can hit the deadline in time.
And maybe in the same way of like, What If uses a lot of the same voice actors as live action, but not all of them, right? They bring in Ross Marquand to fill in all the gaps or whatever. But I think that's interesting. And like, it's also fun. You don't have to lock yourself in, but it's also, if you like an actor and you like what they're doing, why not use them all the time?
They're still doing the Harley Quinn show, right? So, and that's different actors. Those are different actors. So I could see them being like, for animation, we're just doing this, and live action is different. We're not gonna see Lake Bell as Poison Ivy, even though I would love it.
Yeah.
Even though I would love it.
But then those characters will likely, you know,
Yeah,
it's
still
cool
show.
that Frank Grillo is playing both, right? But the characters will likely cross over, and we'll see how that factors in as, you know, they attempt to deliver on this huge slate of movies and TV shows we haven't gotten any updates about.
Yes, maybe we'll get that at San Diego Comic-Con, July 26th. James Gunn, let us know if you're going to do a panel. And on what day and at what time, so we can make sure we clear our
so
schedules.
I can sit in line for 4 hours to make sure I get a spot.
Or, you know, if you want to be cool and just like release that news to the internet a week before, that's fine too.
Or just invite me. I'll be cool about
Yeah.
it. No, I won't.
Yeah, let's just have lunch. Tell us one-on-one. We'll get the scoop. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's enough news for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Maude and Jessica for being here. Thank you to John Costa for popping in and popping out. Know when to leave, John.
I think he left immediately. He took his dog and went home.
We flew out of here.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, he literally left. He left the scissors. God bless.
We're not doing scissors anymore as a bit.
No more.
Nope,
no more
no more
scissors.
Yeah,
giving.
hide them from John. He's
No more
amazing.
scissors.
Yeah. Our slate for the week, come back Wednesday. We'll have our X-Men 97 finale after show. And then probably Thursday, right, Evan? We'll have a lingering questions, kind of look back to the season and look forward to season 2.
Who's been your favorite character so far?
For the beginning, it was Morph, and I was mainly because I was so surprised that Morph would be like my
made it.
favorite character. And yeah, they're so fun. But like it always will be Storm.
I'm going to cheat and say Jean Grey / Madeline Pryor.
No, you gotta choose one, and you can't say the Goblin Queen.
Ooh, I mean,
that
for like 2
outfit.
minutes of screen time, she really did some work.
She made an impression.
Yeah,
But I like, Jean Grey, and just, I don't know. Yeah, she's
I lean more Madeline.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I think she's handling it better than Jean, but I mean, I don't know.
I love Madeline.
What do we know?
You think she's alive?
Who?
Madeline.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't think she died on Genosha?
No?
Okay,
They would have
good.
made a bigger deal. Gambit took
That's
all-
what I thought too. That's what I
know.
thought too. But she might just be dead and they didn't care.
No! That's so not it.
Let's hope not. I hope she's
No
alive.
body, no death.
Okay, thank you so much for watching, everybody.
Kurt,
Subscribe.
Nightcrawler. No one asked. He's my dude. He had
Oh, I'm
3
sorry.
blades.
Yes.
What you want? Sorry.
And thank you for
Nightcrawler.
saying Kurt, so people don't get confused and think we're talking about the Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Yeah,
yes.
big assumption.
Soft G.
Gyllenhaal. Thank you, Maude. I will mispronounce everything if given the opportunity.
I won't let you.
Thank you.
Except innocent. We weren't so innocent about that one, were we?
Which one?
Innocent.
Yeah, Ralph Ineson. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Subscribe, like, share, all that jazz. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.